Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning. Welcome to Up with KREM. Happy Thursday. My name is Nicole Hernandez. We want to get to our weather with meteorologist Thomas Patrick because, Thomas, it's been a nice couple of days, but I did notice a lot of higher cloud cover that made it not feel quite as hot. Is that happening again today?
Yeah, actually, there is a little bit of some of that high cloud cover again for this morning, keeping temperatures at least mild during the morning hours, but it does take the edge off of some of that heat during the afternoon. So we ended up in the low 80s yesterday, and even today, upper 70s is our forecast for the high temperatures. But right now, 59 degrees through Spokane and Spokane Valley, a little bit warmer at 63 currently in Liberty Lake, so a decently mild start to the day here with a bit of that high cloud cover. I do think it could stay intact most of the day here. Thus, our high temperatures largely in the 70s this time around. But 70s is still warm and still comfortable. Enjoy these days because the heat will really pour on by next week, and it could arrive as early as this weekend. So we'll have a detailed breakdown of your Hoop Fest forecast and those hot temperatures by early July all coming up.
Taking a look at I-90 and Division this morning, things looking nice and smooth on our roads. We're not noticing any major backups or traffic or congestion. At this point, our traffic maps say both I-90 and some of the other spots around town are looking pretty good. So if that changes, we'll let you know every half hour here on Up with KREM. Well, this morning, both eastbound lanes of I-90 are open again. Crews finished work overnight to repair a pretty big pothole. The pothole started forming back in February, and it grew to about 3 feet wide and 9 feet long. WSDOT says the colder months made it hard to smooth out. Potholes are super common here in Spokane County, as we all know, so there is a 24/7 pothole hotline. Anyone can call that number at the bottom of your screen, or you can report them online. And that's not the only project WSDOT is tackling this week either. Both I-90 Maple Street on and off ramps will be closed tonight. WSDOT is adding new pavement to the road for preventative maintenance.
There's just several spots in there where we've had kind of chronic potholes and other areas where we're starting to see decay of the asphalt itself.
The westbound I-90 on-ramp will be closed from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. tonight. The eastbound off-ramp will be closed from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. This will also affect the right lanes on I-90 near the ramps while crews work. Westbound drivers can use the Monroe Street on-ramp, and eastbound drivers can use the Division Street off-ramp to get around this. Speaking of roads, before you take any long road trips this summer, AAA says you should probably get your battery checked out. They will be doing free battery checks here at the Shadle Park Library on Thursday, July 10th. It will be from 10 to 2, and you can also recycle old car or house batteries while you're there. The mom of Peyton, Olivia, and Evelyn Decker said yesterday she's upset the man charged with killing her daughters is still out there. Whitney Decker released a statement after search crews said Travis Decker could be dead. The statement said, quote, "One has to ask what law enforcement agencies are most familiar with the surrounding woods and mountains. Certainly not the U.S. Marshals Service," end quote. The Chelan and Kittitas County Sheriff's offices are helping search with the U.S. Marshals. Both say they are still actively looking for Decker, but say none of the tips they've received have given any proof he's in the area. Kittitas County is redirecting some of their resources to recovery in case Decker died trying to evade investigators. The Idaho Supreme Court ruled in favor of Sun Valley Ski Resort. It's a decision resorts in the state have been waiting for quite a while now. Back in 2019, a man died after he ran into snowmaking equipment while skiing at Sun Valley Resort. His wife sued the resort, saying they could have done more to protect her husband. A lower court initially ruled in favor of the resort. Then a higher court reversed the decision, saying it needed more consideration. It ended up in front of the state Supreme Court. They made their decision based on whether Sun Valley Resort followed the Ski Liability Act when marking equipment.
There's been a lot at stake. A negative finding here, or had this finding not gone our way or the way of Sun Valley, it would have resulted in increased insurance costs and all other sorts of difficult impact on the industry.
Alden says had this decision gone the other way, smaller ski areas would not have been able to keep up with the increased costs. The ruling says skiing is an inherently risky sport and that skiers willingly take part when clipping into their skis. We're expecting the U.S. Senate to vote on President Trump's proposed cuts to Medicaid any day now. This morning at 10:30, Governor Bob Ferguson is meeting with healthcare leaders. The press release says they will talk about how the cuts could harm Washington state. The cuts could cost our state $700 million every year. Washington's Department of Licensing says watch out for yet another new text message scam. The scammers this time are telling people they have unpaid traffic tickets from the DMV. Here's a look at what the message looks like. You might have gotten one recently. So how can you tell this is a scam? Well, there's a few things. One, the international area code, also the spelling mistakes and the fake website link. And remember, we don't have a DMV here.
Unlike other states, we refer to ourselves as the Department of Licensing. We wouldn't be asking people, especially to make an urgent payment like this. And so if you want to check your license status, you can create a License Express account on our website.
The DOL says people have been actually calling them about this, asking about the message. So if you get a suspicious text, the department says you should report it to the FTC. A panel with the Centers for Disease Control is voting on whether pregnant women and young children should get the RSV vaccines. The panel was just at a 2-day meeting in Atlanta to talk about immunization recommendations. Now, just last month, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a vaccine skeptic, fired all 17 members of this panel. He then handpicked 8 new members for the group.
This group, they're smart people. They're a little more cynical, I would say, and suspicious of established medicine. And so they're expressing that in their comments.
The panel is meeting again today to review data on shots for the flu and other diseases. Spokane City Council is getting ready to vote on an ordinance they say will make Spokane a more safe and welcoming place for immigrants and refugees. KREM 2's Christian Garza is walking us through how this ordinance will shape future events in Spokane.
With event season in full swing here in the Lilac City, the Safe and Welcome Ordinance is making its way to the council floor. Now, it's an emergency ordinance that could be implemented as early as the next few days if passed.
In the wake of ICE arrests and protests across the city, Spokane City Council members Lily Neveretti and Paul Dillon amended a recent ordinance which authorizes the park director and board to designate portions of park property as non-public areas. This comes after pushback from the park board and city council members. The amendment now only includes right-of-ways. Neveretti says this is a way to expand protections against warrantless immigration arrests. The new version of this ordinance would allow council to designate permitted private events held on public right-of-ways, such as tacos y tequila, as non-public. This means immigration enforcement would need to go through extra steps to make an arrest at an event. In a statement sent to KREM 2 about the ordinance, Neveretti says, "We weren't going to be able to control whether the park board would take advantage of the tool we were creating for them. This option gives council and the administration the ability to use its authority to protect permitted private events."
So I oppose it for a number of reasons.
While this new amended ordinance will give control to the council, Councilman Jonathan Bingle still opposes it, saying he thinks this ordinance will have the reverse effect and only put a target in these areas.
I don't think that we should be making it harder for law enforcement to do their jobs. I don't think it's helping to protect anybody that they're trying to protect.
The Safe and Welcome Ordinance is an emergency ordinance, meaning that if it's approved by City Council, it will go into effect immediately, as opposed to waiting the 30 days and needing the mayor's signature.
Council is expected to vote on the Safe and Welcome Ordinance at the next City Council meeting on Monday, June 30th at 6 p.m. In studio, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
It is just about 6:10, and on this Thursday morning, conditions might be a little bit cooler temperature-wise today. Not by much, but we are talking about high temperatures in the upper 70s for this afternoon. Enjoy those more comfortable days because the high heat is really going to pour on, especially for early next week. The only thing we might be tracking is a little extra cloud cover today as this starts to stream in from the west. Should not result in any showers outside of the mountains for this region. So with that being said, temperatures stay a little bit lower today, but the heat pours on next week.